Hello, everybody. This is our third take trying to begin this. We are not professionals at this, but we're having fun with it. Anyway, I'm Neil. This is our YouTube channel, and it's episode number 2. Thank you. That my beautiful wife in the background is giving me prompts and cues. Anyway, episode number 2, and it's about symptoms. And first of all, a quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. This is only a personal journey of what I went through, what I experienced over the past 2.5 years. So early in 2023, I began my symptoms with fatigue. And I had always been an early riser, always had lots of energy, enjoyed my industry, had a great life, and I had lots of energy. So it was very strange for me to start being limited to like 6 or 7 hours a day. Get up at 5, and by lunchtime I was winding down. I was getting tired. I could actually lay down, have a nap, which I was never opposed to, but this was got to a place where I had to. So I went for some homeopathic treatments, which vitamin C IV, and it didn't seem to change anything. So moving along, started going to see my doctor, asking, am I just getting old? What's going on with me? And so did the typical blood tests, the labs. They came back, and everything appeared to be normal. And so then, very shortly thereafter, I began with headaches. The headaches came on, manageable with Tylenol. Then I went to Tylenol extra strength, and right around that time I ended up with a stomach infection, and ended up on the heavy dose of antibiotics for it. I was told by my medical practitioner that this was a common thing that was going around. And okay, that's fine. So we dealt with that. Maybe that's, in my mind, I was figuring that was what was driving the fatigue and the headache. So as I was on the meds, working with getting rid of the stomach infection, I ended up with pneumonia. Ended up going to the hospital with this issue, and one of the first things that I told them was that I had this unrelenting headache. I was taking a number of extra strength Tylenol per day just to manage it at this point. And they gave me a cocktail for a migraine headache. And my headache immediately disappeared. Within about 10 minutes, I was headache free. It was euphoric. So I tried to find out what it was that was in that to medicate myself, whether I could get it from through my doctor or through a compounding pharmacy or something, and discovered that no, this is just something that they make up at the hospital. It's IV injected, and it's not something that's readily accessible to those of us in the public. So carry on. I got better. Ended up with, got past the pneumonia, got past the stomach infection, and then I started having dizziness was coming on. I got to refer to my notes a little bit. Dizziness, fatigue. The dizziness would hit me just walking around. It wouldn't be steady, wouldn't be constant. It would be just a spell, I guess you could best discuss it. And it was causing me some amount of grief. About 2 or 3 months later, getting into February, March, April, May, into June, I was having serious difficulty trying to focus. Between the headache, the fatigue, it was getting to a place where 3 hours a day was about all I could handle. And at that point, I was unable to do more than one thing. I could, at that point, maybe answer a telephone, maybe have a brief, short conversation, but I was having a problem with brain fog. I couldn't come up with words. I couldn't put a sentence together. I couldn't interact with people because my anxiety level by that point was so high. It was I was starting to shake. I was starting to stutter. I was having issues with breathing. The breathing issues extended more into when I would be outside. I would have a heaviness in my chest. It almost felt like an anxiety attack or a heart attack, for example. A heavy weight, like an elephant sitting on your chest, as it's been described. And so the end of June, I gave up working at my business. Very grateful that I have a team behind me that can actually look after things while I'm absent. And started working more diligently on trying to manage all of what was going on with me. And it became literally a full-time job, just trying to go from doctor to specialist, and trying to find somebody that would have some kind of an answer. And any of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So the weight on my chest, it was exertional. If I did any sort of light activity, I would get this crushing pain. It was like, it was almost like you're trying to breathe through a dense filter or a plugged pipe, or suck through a plugged straw. The tests that I went through indicated that my breathing, I had normal breathing, everything was normal on me. I was hoping, which sounds strange, but I was hoping that they would come back and find some major problem with me, so that at least we could identify what the heck was going on, because I was not in any way even remotely related to the person that I used to be. So doctor's appointments after doctor's appointments, and dealing with forgetfulness. Then I ended up having restless leg syndrome. I was having lots of cramping. I was having the leg pain that I had developed with my headache was getting worse. I was having issues with walking. It would take me 10 minutes, give me 10 minutes to walk from the car, or walk from my doctor's office down to from the waiting room to the doctor, to the exam room. It was ridiculous, absolutely crazy. The stomach cramping, I had diarrhea, I had incontinence, I had muscle spasms almost to the point of cramping. It felt like I did sit-ups all night. My cholesterol from 2022 jumped 6 points between 2022 and 2023. And I had done nothing different as far as my diet at this point. Brain fog was probably one of the worst things, because it caused me anxiety, it caused me dizziness, it caused me speech issues, it caused me tremors. It basically made me unable to leave the house, because I couldn't function around people. I couldn't go into a grocery store, our little local grocery store, with a couple, 3 customers at a time. I couldn't go in there. Everyone in there, anybody moved, it would actually spook me. And somebody at some point, I made a trip to Sedona looking for some support, and it was suggested that perhaps where we normally have a circle of defense, our normal circle of defense, when you get that feeling that somebody's approaching you from behind, or you get that feeling where somebody's coming up in your space, that that was missing, and that totally made sense because I wouldn't see people until they were in my peripheral vision. I wouldn't get that sense. I ended up in May of 24. I ended up with, through all the other testing that I'd gone through, multiple MRIs, CAT scans, testing my heart, testing my leg, through private clinic. I went to a private clinic because I wasn't getting anything. The wait times were so long within the medical profession itself. I paid to go to a private clinic, which kudos to them. They did an amazing job in diagnosing who I physically was. They found very little wrong with me. Very minor things that changed from by diet perhaps. But through the process, they discovered that I had a blockage in my lower left descending artery, which they called would have been a widowmaker, a 96% blockage. I was grateful for them to find that. And I figured, you know what, this has got to be the reason for the headaches, for the fatigue. It all makes sense. And had a stent put in, went home to recover, and no change in the other symptoms, nothing. And I was quite frankly, I was bamboozled because it was the only thing that somebody found out through all the ultrasounds and the CAT scans and MRIs. Did my brain, my neck, I was literally 2 years of being tested, poked and prodded with no absolute result. So those of you out there that have symptoms, you need to add them all together, because I find in the medical profession, and they may not be looking at things like I am now, or like you are now, because I have the benefit of some hindsight. All of these singular kinds of issues don't mean a whole lot, but if you add them all up, the commonality should be discovered by them and put a title on it called inflammation. The final straw for me was I ended up waking up one morning and I had a dark circle in my right eye, to find out that I'd had a stroke in my right eye and my optic nerve caused by inflammation. And they don't have a reason. They didn't have a reason. Why would I have inflammation? Why would I get a stroke in my right eye? And there's absolutely no reason. I'm perfectly healthy. My labs are good. You're just a stroke of nature. Who knows? But so the minute you start mentioning vaccination injury, you start mentioning anything to do with COVID, in our world over here, they ignore you. They don't want to have that conversation. They don't want to go down that path. I respect they don't want to open themselves up to any sort of negative repercussions in their own industry and with their own professional bodies, but that doesn't sit well with the whole do no harm sort of message that they put out there. So those were my symptoms, and medications I was on heavy medications for pain. I was on heavy medications for anxiety. They ended up putting me on a statin, and then they transferred me over. I didn't want to be on a statin, so I ended up taking a non-statin cholesterol medication, which was very expensive, and I had to pay for it myself. But within 4 treatments at the Apheresis Center, my pain started to go away, my anxiety started to diminish. By the 9th treatment, when I left, I was pain-free, medication-free, and I've said before, I was 75 to 80% better. And I still work every day. I have to manage myself. I have to manage my stress. I have to manage my anxiety, my fatigue, my hours. I have to pay attention. I can't go back to being who I used to be yet, because I'm not who I used to be yet. And it's that simple. But there is help out there. For anybody watching this, reach out to the Apheresis Center. Go on, this is the place. Apheresiscenter.eu is their website, and there's a test. Go to the website, take the test, call Marcus, and he'll answer all the questions that you may have. It is a real place. Talked about that before. I accidentally found it. Nobody told me, and that's why I'm out here now telling you. Simply because there is help if you so desire. Anyway, that's it for episode number 2, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will come back with episode number 3, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. Thank you. Now? Hey everyone, I just want to put it out there. Please, through your journey, through your healing journey, always stay positive.